We're coming to you live from the Carthage Walmart parking lot. Sometimes you got to roll with what you got, right? So that's going to be part of our goal setting that we're talking about. It's the end of the year. We just finished our family vacation. It was a blast hanging out with my adult children and some of my grandchildren, not all of them, my husband, my mother-in-law, who I call my mom. Man, we had the best time. We stayed up late and played games. Like, see, that was a goal. The goal was to spend time together and have an experience just together, just getting away from it all together. So we rushed home today. If you're interested in following my house project, for over a month now, we've been working on the foundation of our house. By working, I mean we've hired somebody, but the work is being done. So if you want to check that out on my YouTube channel here, go check out House Adventures. It's under there. Got home in time today to do some filming for the next leg of the project that's happening on our foundation repair. And I just got back from the grocery store because we have not been living in our house for over a month. So there was literally no food. Now, if you're a mom, you know what I'm saying. The kids come in and say, there's nothing to eat. And you're like, there's plenty to eat. When I, as a mom, say there's no food in the house, I'm pretty much not kidding. So I had to make a quick run to Walmart, and I'm like, okay, here's a great opportunity right now to pop in here and do the next segment on our goal setting for the end of the year. And that's learning. Embrace learning. Embrace learning, because you're about to do something new. You're going to take on a new goal for the next 12 months to achieve, or 6 months. We'll talk about breaking it down. But you want to embrace learning. Sometimes I'm not so excited about this because that means maybe something didn't go well, or maybe something went great. But most of the time it means I have to learn something new to achieve this new goal. So I want you to embrace learning. There's a book called 20 Hours to Learn Something New, I think is what it's called, by Josh Kaufman. I'll put the actual title and link to the book here in the description. But what he says in his book, what he's teaching us in his book, is, you know how you've heard that it's 21 days to a new habit? It's really not scientifically backed. What is backed is 20 hours to learn something new. And when you spend 20 hours learning something, you actually create a new path, a new neuron path. My son will correct me on that because he's a communications major with a minor in psychology, so he'll help me correct that in the comments. But there's a new pathway. That pathways in your brain are what create habits and is what helps you do things without thinking. So when you're in this process of learning something new to gain something positive, whatever your gain result is in learning something new, the faster you can do it, meaning the more times you can spend, get 20 hours in, the quicker you're going to learn this new process. So in other words, let's say you're learning to ride a bike, or you're learning how to do a spin class. I'm going to give you some experience. Or yoga. These are two things that I learned last year. Was relaxation yoga. Don't get excited that I learned like the good stuff, like the really hard stuff. Relaxation yoga and spin class. So before I could really say I feel like I've learned this enough to maybe get better at it, like the basic skill of doing relaxation yoga and the basic skill of getting through my spin class without wanting to cry. 20 hours. Now I'm doing each one of those things. This last year, I did each one of them about 45 minutes at a time. So yoga class was about 45 minutes twice a week. That's an hour and a half. So if you do the math, if my brain to create a new pathway so that is something I know how to do is going to take 20 hours, and I'm only putting an hour and a half effort in it each week, I can't get frustrated with myself, even though my brain wants to give up, because really our brain always wants us to hit the easy button. Remember, we talked yesterday about the hills, climbing up the hill and then the valley, about potential energy and kinetic energy. My brain wants to give up because it's not instantly easy. Have you ever tried something new and you're like, I suck at this. I'm quitting. I'm not any good at this. Well, you're not any good at it because it's something new and your brain is like, I don't know how to do this, but your brain's like, we're out of here. We're not good at this. You're not going to be good at most things. Sometimes you're going to have some talent, lucky you, but not any good at yoga and really not any good at spin class. It took me months because remember, each week I'm only getting about an hour and a half practice in. It took me, well, I can't even do the math. I don't want to do the math live on that. I don't want to do the math, but do the math. Like, we'll put it in the comments. Somebody put it in the comments. An hour and a half each week. If I had to get to 20 hours before my brain said, oh, we know how to do this. Okay, I lost my internet for a second there. So what I'm saying is, what we would like you to do, we, meaning me, DeAnna, we and my cheerleader coaching self is saying to you, we are saying to you, don't give up. Plan on learning something new and plan on 20 hours before you're even going to feel great about it. Okay, so if your new skill is, I have to get better, I want to get out of debt, so I want to be managing my money better, plan on 20 hours of every time you got to sit down and do your budget. And probably takes you 10 or 15 minutes to do a budget. It's going to take you 20 hours of that before you're super feeling great about how to budget. Okay. What if you're somebody that wants to build your client base so that you can, I don't know, maybe take your family on a vacation. So you're like, I need to build my client base. So to build your client base, you got to start reaching out to people. If you're only going to spend 30 minutes a day reaching out to people to build new clients, it's going to take you a few weeks before you're going to start feeling great about that skill because you're learning something new. So your brain's going to be like, we still don't feel great about this. So to feel great about it, you want to give yourself at least 20 hours. Now, the quicker you can get those 20 hours in, the better you're going to feel about it, right? But for most of us, we can't just jump in and do it. So it's the same thing on a job. You know, when you do a job and you got a new job and you're learning new skills, you know, a few days into it, you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel better about this. If it was a full-time job, 3 or 4 days into it, you're kind of starting to be like, okay, I know how to clock in. I kind of know how to get around. You know what I'm saying? Like 20 hours, you're like, I'm feeling better about it. You still don't know the job, right? But you're like, I feel better about it. So today, step 4 is learn something new and plan on 20 hours minimum to start feeling good about that something new that's going to get you one step closer to your goal 12 months from now. All right, everybody. Happy, right now it's New Year's Eve. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.